What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, and this is the Amc Gme and SPY Algo Exposed weekly update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Sunday. I hope you're enjoying the time off. We're about to get the grinding again tomorrow. I'd like to go over the regulars that I always go over here, and that it consists of, the macro comparatives for AMC and SPY, as well as my snake algo for AMC, GME, and SPY. So, with that said, let's dig in. On your screen is AMC and the macro comparative from the macro descending wedge prior to the January 2021 run-up. This is a compressed version and placement of this that I have been using every single day for months, literally since I come on the channel here and started streaming, and it is still following the path and fulfilling this path in its entirety. The only thing that it did not do was 2 weeks ago, when it went to break out of the macro descending wedge at the resistance, it got rejected and it did not fulfill what would be the run-up or the replicated run-up from January in this macro comparative. And when it did not do that, my understanding of that, or my making sense of that, was to think that maybe price action was suppressed and kept from heading up in that direction, and potentially the fulfillment of real price action would then continue to follow this macro comparative's projected price action from the January run-up to the May run-up and the price action in between there. And that's exactly what's happened since then, and price action has essentially followed that path. Now, within that, what the indication and potential projection from this macro comparative in this placement is, moving into tomorrow this week, is obviously a grind up style move to the upside. Right now, currently, if price levels continue to fulfill like they have here in the last week, I would expect this to potentially give an upside move throughout the week up to just shy of $29 is what it appears to be. Potentially, it would start to pull back here towards the end of the week without doing a measurement. That's what it looks like to me. But nonetheless, we'll be tracking this every day throughout the week. I'll go over this in the update prep videos every night. But that's what the initial projection from this macro comparative in that position is indicating to me. Now, there is a second way of looking at this, and that's in an extended version, which I used to show on here. Caught a bunch of hell for because it showed a bottom, depending on how far you pulled it, between $7 and $9. Obviously here, the fulfillment to this, in this position, the $9 bottom, did not fulfill that far down. It found support. Where are we at there? About 13 bucks is where it found support there, both here and in the middle. But however, you can look and see where price action for about the last month has got back in line with this and essentially fulfilled itself almost candle for candle to this point, to where we're at now. So obviously, if it were to fulfill, if we were to not go upside like the compressed version we're showing, and we were to go heavy downside starting tomorrow throughout what looks and appears to be potentially the next 2 weeks, then obviously I would be looking at this more intently out here with you. But I wanted to put it back on your radar in this extended version so you had a chance to see that. Something else I wanted to look at with you all is the macro comparative position prior to the May run-up of 2021. And it was sent to me by a couple of y'all, well, actually by a lot of y'all, saying, we're going up, we're going up. Well, here it is. Here's the deal. Could this fulfill in this manner? It absolutely could. However, when using these macro comparatives, I like to have previous price movement that had been projected and fulfilled leading up to the position within that fractal that I'm in. this is, in my opinion, this is what I call cherry picking. Now, it's not to say that it can't happen. You know, I'm a big proponent for anything is possible and nothing is imminent but death. So it definitely could happen. But realistically, it's not something I like to do with the way I do things. But we'll take a look at it here and I'll show it to y'all. And this is what it looks like. Obviously, it appears like potentially this move would come here. We would start to get upside potentially tomorrow. Yeah, what appears potentially tomorrow, we would start to get some upside move. I think we would know, you know what I'm saying? Compared to the other ones that I have that I've been looking at and going over with you, both the compressed version of the macro double prior to the January run up, and then the big brother, both upside moves. This is a parabolic move, and it wouldn't get a pullback and retest till we would get up here around this macro third, somewhere around $40. So if that were to happen, then I think we would know that instantly, and we could go ahead and start looking at that as a comparative. But that's the one prior to the May run up, and the one I just showed you in the compressed and extended version is prior to the January run up. Now, another macro comparative that I've showed you is what I've coined Big Brother, Little Brother. And that is right here. Big Brother, Little Brother comes from this exact fractal comes from back in August. And I've explained this in previous videos. And I started showing you all this again in the recent weeks. And it is following this as well to a certain extent. And again, not candle for candle, but the path is, and this is one of those ones where it really does follow. If you were clipping this in pieces and putting it on, I put it on here the best way I can in its entirety to look at, with emphasis on the current position of real price action within it. But nonetheless, you can see here, essentially, it's some consolidation here in a W, compressed W formation. Those of you that know and or understand my box top method, you can see what's going on here. So therefore, I would believe, according to this, we would get some consolidation in a W formation manner here the first part of this week, followed by potentially a move to the upside back up to this mid third pull here, where we hit dead on last week and rejected off of, again up here going into the latter part of this week. But that is the Big Brother macro comparative for AMC that I've been tracking with you as well. So those are the macro comparatives. Real quick on that note, with the macro comparative, the Big Brother, Little Brother, I want y'all to see this. This is the entire thing, and this is where Big Brother, Little Brother comes from. And again, this one works best when pulled in segments, but nonetheless, you can see. So there's the fulfillment there in the macro double here. And then you can see how this has, there it is, portrayed itself in that manner, even dating back up here. Right here. Even dating back into November. It's been following the Big Brother fractal. So that's where Big Brother, Little Brother comes from in its entirety. This is not relevant to me right now. I just wanted you to see the historical movement of it previously and the projection, the long-standing projection that I was talking about. So that's Big Brother, and that is the macro comparatives for AMC. Now, my snake algo for AMC. The clip is still relevant from last Wednesday. Last week fulfilled in its entirety, dead on all week last week. Super proud of the snake algo last week. It did not let me down. So I have an expectation and potential expectation and anticipation of this diverting, real price action diverting from this one, either Monday and or Tuesday, and then getting a new snake and it hopefully leading, fulfilling, projecting and fulfilling from that point on. So whether or not it fulfills in its entirety or not, I don't know. I don't quite think so. I think probably, well, maybe, I guess if you measure this, what are we looking at? 2 days. So not quite all of it if it were to divert prior to end of day Tuesday. So that's what I'm looking at for it. Obviously, the projection moving into tomorrow would be, according to this, potentially short-term downside, some volatility back up, and then obviously the macro generalized perspective of that intraday here would be to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at from a snake algo perspective with AMC. GME, all I have is a snake for it at this point. This is the snake from last week. Just like AMC, it's been on the same snake pull schedule, projection and fulfillment that AMC has been on. Excuse me. The indication of this is from the projection from this and its pull was from last Wednesday. Again, the same potential anticipation and or expectation of this to divert either tomorrow and or Tuesday, and then get a new one and have it project and hopefully fulfill as well. However, looking at it, it looks the same as AMC. Downside with maybe a bounce here upside, and then obviously the generalized perspective is downside, at least for tomorrow, what appears to be maybe some consolidation first thing, then downside before it gets this potential bounce. But that's the snake for GME. Now, SPY. SPY, I have a macro comparative from the 08-09 correction and crash in two separate positions. The red is what I call the extended version. The blue is what I call the long-term version. And we have been following both of these for quite some time. Well, we've been following the extended version for quite some time. I just started showing y'all the long-term version just in case. It looked like we may had we're on a path to divert from this last week, and then it went ahead and continued falling. But nonetheless, here is the projection based on those. Obviously, the extended version is showing what looks to and appears to be short-term upside, maybe some consolidation here throughout the week, or at least the first part of the week. And then obviously the generalized perspective of the macro movement is downside moving forward. However, the long-term version is the exact opposite. It is a generalized perspective of upside movement and a grind up fashion on the way there. Then we have my snake Algo. Again, this was clipped Wednesday, just like AMC and GME. The previous snake led 2 weeks and 1 day, and I went ahead and clipped this Wednesday, and I do believe I have enough price movement data to go ahead and feel somewhat comfortable with this initial placement of it right here. And the indication with it for a projection moving forward, just like the macro comparative, the extended version, one is a short-term move to the upside, followed by downside, and then the generalized perspective of that macro movement for continuation would be to the downside, almost identically to the extended version macro comparative. So that's what I'm looking at for AMC, GME, and SPY moving into tomorrow. I appreciate it if you made it to the end of the video. That's all I got for right now. I want to get this out to y'all and get you back to enjoying your Sunday festivities and or your Sunday R&R. I appreciate it if you made it to the end. If you would, like the video for me, leave a comment, interact, would greatly appreciate that as well. Quick reminder, I will be live here. I will be live for Market Open tomorrow. We start at 9 a.m. We're here from Market Open to Market Close for the stock market live stream. So I hope to see you all then. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I will talk to you all first thing tomorrow morning. Later.